Hey everybody, let's try something new on Monday. Let's do the village's political temperature. That way you'll know what they're talking about here in the retirement community. It's supposed to be retirement community. I got my doubts that that's really what it is anymore. But that's a whole nother story. Let me see if I can find something here to read for you. Remember, this is letters to the editor about politics. And it's not me, not my opinion. I'm not trying to start an argument here, but I've always wondered, and this is a question I've always had in my head. This is free country, free speech, free whatever you want, right? But yet, when it comes to doing YouTube videos, especially here in the villages or in other places, it seems like politics and religion is hands off. We never discuss it. And I always wonder why. There's some rule, some law says I'm not allowed to discuss this. I'm not allowed to have my opinions about it. I mean, it's just an opinion. You can do whatever you want. My opinion don't stop you from doing anything. Or anybody else's opinion stop me from doing anything. It's just an opinion. And if you don't talk about something, how are you going to learn about anything that might be different? So anyway, we're going to do the political temperatures here in the villages for a while. This is not going to be anything I'm going to do for years, but I'll probably do it after the election or up to the election maybe. I'm not sure yet, but it's not going to be for a long period of time. Here's a letter to the editor. To the editor, be honest with yourself and look at our world today. It is on fire ever since Biden and Harris have been in the White House. If you have any kind of sense, you have to recognize all the problems we have in the Mideast and Ukraine. Harris is not capable or experienced enough to handle Russia, Iran, North Korea, or China, etc. Those problems would not even exist today if we had a strong and intelligent leader in the White House, which we don't. I'm going to stop right there and just make a little comment. When they always say that, when we don't have an intelligent, let me tell you what, you don't become president, a senator, a congressman, a judge, any of that stuff and say you're stupid. To me, that is an unintelligent comment to even make by anybody. You're not stupid to make it that far. There might be a lot of other things involved there. Being stupid ain't one of them. I know everyone is just talking about the economy and the border, which are also very large problems. But if war breaks out further, you know we will be in World War III. I don't know that. See, that's a lot of this news channel rhetoric. CNN, Fox. Maybe I ought to not make my opinion about this, but I said I was going to stop every now and then and I was going to give you my opinion. I believe, and I said it once before, the news on TV, if they don't change, they're on the way out. All the major news people from CNN and Fox, those are the two that I know about, they've got their own channels now, and they've left. And I think people are going there to get the real news because when you work for companies like CNN, Fox, or whoever, they restrict on what you can say. You know, they got censorships, so they've left. I mean, I may glance the news to see what's really happening because, they got the cameras around the world showing the bombing and all this kind of stuff. So I do go there and I watch that kind of thing to get that kind of news. And I'm not sure how much of that's accurate, but I watch it. But when they start talking politics, especially these so-called polls, these polls, I laugh at them every night because if you watch them from one channel to the next, these polls are almost a joke. They're made up. Think about your children and grandchildren that may be involved. I pray that it doesn't happen, and no matter what you think of Trump, he is by far our best choice of being able to stop it before it happens. Harris is talking about all that she will do, which is just words that have no meaning and repeating lies about Trump that she knows are false statements. Where has she been for the last 3.5 years? Words are cheap. Action is what counts. I know a lot of people may accuse me of jumping to conclusions, but just look at the facts. Russia and the Ukraine war has been going on for close to 2 years, and nobody has made any kind of an attempt to stop it. And if we had a strong leader, it would have been stopped before it started. Here's how I kind of see that war. Just my opinion. We hate Russia. We would love to have a war with Russia, but we don't want to do it because it makes you look bad when you're coming up for re-election, right? Actually, we're using Ukraine to fight a war that we wish we could do, and we're sending stuff there so they can fight our war. Look at the mess Afghanistan is and already under control of the terrorists. Look at the Suez Canal and the Red Sea. Has been taken over by terrorists and stopping all the world shipping. And I haven't even heard Harris mention it. Plus, look at the thousands of probably millions of lives being lost, cities being destroyed. And we don't have a person in the White House that is capable of negotiating peace or even showing any concern to do so. All she wants to do is talk about is when she was a little girl instead of the issues facing our country today. I want to see my grandkids having to go to war just because we have elected a weak and incompetent leader. And just because we don't like Trump's personality, Trump is the person that did a good job for 4 years and kept peace in the world and kept our country strong. We need peace in this world and stopping millions of people invading our border. We need a strong leader. That is my concern. That's sent in by Ken Solko from the village of Osceola Hills. Well, thank you, Ken. And don't take my little comments in there to heart either. They're just little things that pops in my head and I just spit them out. And here's a short letter to the editor from the other side. The magnification of the Republican species is leading to its downfall. Oh, some of you guys, the way you write is so funny. Hopefully, when Kamala Harris completely ravishes Trump in the upcoming election in a thorough landslide, the real Republicans come to their senses and finally realize that Trump is a total loser that the party needs to wash their hands of. It will take quite some time for the Republican Party to wash off the stench of Trump. That's sent in by Nate Weathers from the village of Palo Alto. Gee, I wonder who he's going to vote for. And here goes another one back to the other side of the fence. The con man Trump's latest gift is a $100 coin with his likeness on it. Unfortunately, it is not worth $100. It only has $31 worth of silver in it. Megas all over are probably cashing in their 401ks that are booming under Biden to buy these Trump coins. Will the Trump con ever stop? That's sent in by Diane Yates from the village of Virginia Trace. I don't know. I sometimes wonder if people could even think, you realize selling a $100 coin is really only worth, say, $31 of silver, you say. That ain't the silver that's worth the money. I mean, if you've got a penny that's dated back to, say, 1909 VDBs, which I had one of those, that's called 1909 VDB. It still only has roughly a penny or 2 pennies worth of copper in it, but you know that coin's worth $100,000. I mean, so what you're saying there to me is a little idiotic. I mean, use some common sense, I guess, a little bit. It says cashing in their 401ks, booming under Biden. Well, I have 2 401ks that I still kept, and I keep an eye on them. And for the last 3 or 4 years, my 401ks hasn't done much of anything. Matter of fact, there for a while, they went down quite a bit. Now, I think they are up a little bit now, back about where I started. But, I always find it odd. Isn't it funny how gas prices always go down around election time? And just speaking of that coin, it's no different than when they have $1,000 a plate dinner. Do you think that food is actually worth $1,000? It's just all about collecting monies that they can use during their campaign. From the pandemic to this year, food prices have surged. In my opinion, it is a mix of supply and demand, the pandemic, and other global events. Supply and demand has always been what regulates store prices. It ain't just now. That's been forever. After the pandemic's onset, there was a significant decrease in dining out and people started stockpiling groceries. Due to infected employees, it became harder to staff stores, meat processing plants, and warehouses, raising the cost of doing business. Then came Russia's invasion of Ukraine, increasing the cost of commodities, grains, vegetables, and oils, etc. It also raised the cost of producing and transporting food products. Then there came the avian flu and droughts further straining food supplies. And to this, food corporations have been raking in huge profits. They have not lowered food prices, and food corporations mergers have de-incentivizing price competition. Then there's the devious shrink inflation, less product, but at the same price. Trump's policies of huge tariffs and mass deportation will only worsen the problem. Tariffs are ultimately paid by the consumer, the invisible tax, and generally by the middle and lower income consumers. Mass deportation? Who do you think works in the meat processing plant and agriculture? Have you ever been to a meat packing plant? I have. I used to haul out there all the time. I've walked through many of them. I know what you're getting at, and what you're getting at is kind of false information. That's not necessarily true. I mean, you go to a meat processing plant that's got a union, they got retirement, they got medical benefits. You'll find guys that's worked in there for 30, 35, 40 years. Venture to say that you've never been to a meat processing plant. Talk to a truck driver that goes in and out of them all the time. And there's thousands of them that go into these meat processing plants every day. They'll tell you. Then it says, prove me wrong. I'm sure there's probably some things in the country somewhere, the smaller plants maybe, they're hiring illegals. I have never seen children like I've seen them reported on TV. I don't know where that come from. Did it happen? I suppose maybe mom and pop places, maybe it could have happened, but none of the major plants I've been in, none of them. It wouldn't happen. You got to go past a guard to even get into the parking lot. Then you got to have a pass to get inside the plant. You got to put on. No, I say no, that's not happening. That's sent in by Dorothy Stevens Duncan from the village of St. Charles. Tell me, Dorothy, if you're watching this, send me an email. Let me know what processing plant you've been into so I can check it out. I'd like to know. To the editor. I just got an email from the official Medicare site with a message from President Biden. It turns out to be a blatant campaign message for Harris. This is reminiscent of what we see in countries like Venezuela and Nicaragua, where the leadership there uses all government agencies to further the objectives of their party and to the exclusion of opposition parties. Disgraceful. That's sent in by Joe Wood from the village of DeLuna. Well, Joe, I'll take your word for that. As far as I know, I've never gotten that message on my Medicare. So, I don't know. I can't go along with that. And I can't tell you that's what Nicaragua does, and I don't know what Venezuela does. I'll take your word for that one, too. But thanks for sending that in, Joe. Appreciate it. Well, I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I know it won't be a real long video. I'll edit it the best I can, and I'll get it out there. And you let me know. Does this seem like something that you'd be interested in hearing every Monday? Because I know you're overloaded with it on TV. I see it. If you're not interested in any of this that's going on around here in the villages, I'll find something else to do. To the editor, if you support Trump, you support sexual assault. I do? If you support Trump, you support sexual predators. I do? If you support Trump, you support business fraud. I do? If you support Trump, you support racism. Boy, this person knows more about me than what I do. If you support Trump, you support insurrection. If you support Trump, you support assault on police officers. If you support Trump, you support theft of government secrets. If you support Trump, you support incompetence. And if you support Trump, you are in a cult. That's sent in by Annette Woodley from the village of Hadley. I'm just going to say a couple little things real quick. I'm not going to really get into it. First of all, do you know what a cult is? I don't think you do. Look it up. If you support Trump and theft of government secrets, that's neither here nor there. We ain't heard the end of that anyway. Biden had his too, didn't he? So why is it the government goes one way to get after one person one way, and then the other guy that gets a pat on the hand goes, well, he's old, he's incompetent, we don't have to worry about that over there. You have to see both sides here. The thing that I take about all this is this. People are deciding who they want to vote for out of hatred. Not who's good for the country, not who's good for America, not who's good for the world. It's about hatred. I hate this man so much. I'm going to vote for this incompetent, stupid woman over here. I'm just putting words in my mouth, not yours. I'm just trying to make a point because I can't stand him. I'm going to vote for her. I hate the way he cuts his hair. I'm voting for her. I can't stand the way he rattles on the camera, so I'm going to vote for her. The last time something like this happened that I can recall, that I can remember, is when Bill Clinton got elected. They went to, I forget how many college campuses, real quick, and then we'll get out of here. And they took a poll of something like, I forget how many it was. I'll say 1,000. It might have been 10,000. I don't remember. You can Google it and probably find it. Of young ladies in college that voted, not the ones that said who they'd vote for, because half the people say, I will vote for, and then they don't vote at all. But the ones that actually did vote, out of 1,000 people, it was overwhelming. The number one answer as to why they voted for Bill Clinton was, are you ready? Because he had a great haircut and a nice smile. That's why. I'm sorry, but to run a country, to run a world leadership, I just don't see where that enters into anything at all. Oh, another one was, if you knew a short, fat, bald guy with a beard could be the greatest president in history, would you vote for him? Overwhelmingly, these same college girls said no. Food for thought. That being said, let me know what you think. Appreciate it. I'll get out of here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And just thanks for taking it all in, because we all have to do it. You do too. God bless America. And God bless American voters.